was just the qualifiers.
Oh God!
It's like I'm just the fucking uncle of the bad guy. It's like, all right, whatever. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd On, the podcast you didn't need but deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome, even those who don't have a quirk.
What? But can I be a nerd without a quirk?
It just said that.
You won't get a whole lot of screen time on this episode, though.
Fair.
Yes.
Dang.
So, welcome,
Thanks.
everyone.
Hi.
These are the stories. There are stories about every hero, about how they became great. Most have one thing in common. Their bodies moved before they had a chance to think, almost on their own. Today, we explore the world of My Hero Academia seasons 1 through 3 through the eyes of Izuku Midoriya and his plight and journey through UA, School for Heroes.
He's punching a lot. We're all punching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
Don't use your
Ali.
arms. You'll break them.
But it's
Yeah.
time for us to go beyond. Plus Ultra!
Plus Ultra!
Yay.
I am here.
I just got minus 10 points on my final exam.
Yeah,
for,
you
did.
for just standing
We're
around doing
not
nothing.
punching.
You still
Yeah.
get your permit, though. So
Yeah, okay.
No, that's
Oh,
good.
sweet.
still a
Well
90.
done.
That's higher than. Deku got.
Anyways,
Yeah.
before we got our show started, let's introduce the host. I am Tom.
I am Ollie.
I'm Caitlin.
Corey.
And I am Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by the members of the Nerd On Nation that
Yeah,
is
it is.
powered by Patreon. Patreon is a membership service in which you can get fun stuff like cool bonus features like bonus episodes,
Mhm.
early access to
Discounts on merch.
discounts on merch, a Discord server that is hopping all of the time, and new topics are being added all of the time.
Pretty much every week.
Pretty fun stuff. But yeah, check that out. Become a member of the Nerd On Nation by going to nerdon.io/Patreon.
Nice.
And because this is based on a manga, I think I say
Manga.
I say it the wrong
said
way.
it right.
I'm so proud of you.
You can check that out on Comixology, who are friends of ours. And a little of every sale does go to us, to keeping the lights on and growing.
If you
Some would
use our
say-
link.
It's the greatest place for internet resource comic books.
Yeah.
Where's the triangle?
Where's the
Where's
triangle?
the triangle?
Oh no.
Okay.
No
Ding.
triangle.
Hey, Corey. Thanks.
We have to develop a quirk for that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, but nerdon.io/Comixology.
Yes.
Let's
Now,
get into it.
All the housekeeping's
do it,
out of the
man.
way.
Let's talk about some quirks.
So again, it's kind of a funny thing because this is it's a show that's not yet done. So we're not going to have a rating at the end. We're not going to have a grump right now, but we're just going to have fun, discuss the show, do our brief synopsis and little potatoes, and then go over our
Poached
favorite
potatoes.
parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Poached potatoes.
Poached potatoes.
I like
Poached
those.
potatoes.
Man, do we? Okay, so how do we have a brief synopsisizing?
Oh boy, Tom.
Okay, so it's 3 seasons. It's an anime show for all those who are uncultured or uninitiated at home. Very fun. Everyone, please hop in and help me out if you'd
Yeah.
like
There's
to.
a boy named Izuku Midoriya.
In a world where 80% of the populace have superpowers and they're called quirks. And the greatest hero of all is called All Might. He's a symbol of peace and hope to everybody. And Deku, aka Izuku Midoriya, wishes to go to a school called
well, he
UA.
wishes to have a quirk
Wishes to have a quirk and
because
then
he is quirkless,
and
as
a-
he finds out to
and a-
much of his chagrin.
and attend UA, which is the high school for superheroes, especially the one that All Might went to. His childhood rival is Katsuki Bakugo, which we all just call him Bakugo, and he's been like the bully with a very powerful and pro-like quirk that explodes things. And then one day, after Bakugo is in danger, Izuku tries to save him, but doesn't. But All Might does, and All Might bestows upon Midoriya
The
Izuku
power of?
Midoriya, the power of all,
One
one for all,
One for all.
one person for everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll get a little difficult too. But
yeah.
giving him his power, he trains and then attends a registration open exam with all these other heroes
Basically
that
a
will end up
cattle
meet.
call.
Yes, that will meet, and then he gets admitted to the Hero Academia
Ooh.
with other students such as Shoto Todoroki and all these
There's
other
a
people that
lot.
we're not going to mention. But throughout this first few months is where all these 3 seasons
the
take
first
place.
semester, yeah.
And his homeroom teacher is Aizawa, aka Eraserhead. And we'll fast forward a little bit. We'll get to the big incident event at the USJ, which was a training simulation that they were supposed to do with other pro heroes. And a league of villains show up and attack the students because they have discovered a way to kill All Might by creating monsters called Nomu that have multiple quirks. So typically one person will have one quirk or inherit a quirk from their parents
They are
or inherit
scary.
2 quirks from their parents,
Maybe.
one from each parent.
Yeah.
But these will have 5 or so or 7, 9 quirks. And when we end up discovering is that they were given these quirk. It's much like how it sounds like how All Might gave his quirk to Ezekiel Midoriya. So we end up feeling like, oh, okay, maybe he has some connection to it. We later on go to the sports festival, which is a typical shonen tournament arc-like system, much like Yu Yu
You've seen Yu Yu
Hakusho
Hakusho, yeah. I was
or
gonna say.
the original Dragon Ball Z series. Elimination, but they put it on its head and have a little bit more fun. There's a marathon or like a race to the end at the beginning, and there's a cavalry race where we see
different trials, essentially.
different powers.
Eventually, they fight each other.
And then we get little small introductions to different characters. But the main thing what this festival does is actually show the world what the Class 1A students have to offer.
So
Making
they
they become
drafted essentially into internships.
But also puts a target on all their heads from other schools, other classes, as well as professional villains.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're a professional villain, but a villain.
It also gives a chance 1B to show off.
Yes. But so with this rise of the League of Villains, a hero killer named Stain appears, and he is cutting up bitches
Heroes
left
who
and
he
right.
sees not worthy to wear the title of hero.
Yes. And our young Midoriya, as well as Shoto Todoroki and Tenya Ida, find their way in an abandoned alley, fighting him and running for
After
their
he
life.
crippled his brother.
After he
Ida's
kills
brother.
Ida's brother, and exposes Stain. And this creates a shift in the paradigm of all villains around the world, where they are galvanized to be like, yeah, true hero, like All Might's the only real hero. Everyone here that's a pro, who has agencies, who make money off of, saving
Kind of
people's lives,
posers.
yeah, aren't real heroes. They're not doing it for the right
Yeah.
reasons. But Midoriya makes a good impression on Stain. And as we see, the leader of the League of Villains, Tomura Shigaraki,
Or
is-
who we think is the leader.
he's a leader of his own villains. He is getting much more irritated at the sight of Deku
And Stain.
all the time, and Stain, because Stain and them have conflicting ideologies. We later
Stealing
on,
the limelight.
yes,
Yeah.
we later on get the students who end up going to like a 2-week
Undisclosed location for training.
Yeah, boot camp, if you will, where they're trained under the Pussycat team. So think of it like a
The
Fantastic
Wild
Four.
Pussycats.
Yeah,
Like
think of it
Josie and the Pussycats, except
Yeah.
not a band.
yeah,
Right.
Instead, they're superheroes.
But
As far as we know.
as plots need to happen, the League of Villains come up again, and their main mission is to kidnap Katsuki Bakugo, who plays first place during the sports festival, and hopefully, with his violent tendencies, to recruit him into the League of Villains because his power is like unrivaled.
It's really powerful, but he also kind of shows
Violence,
Yeah.
violence.
tendencies.
He yells a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plotting
real angry.
ensues
He's a
and
yelling
fails.
boy. And then we meet the leader, the
Well,
creator,
then there's a rescue
a rescue mission.
in which we find out that the person behind all of this is actually
Well, I was gonna say, and then we see the leader, the true creator of this League of Villains, that the successor that Tomura Shigaraki is the successor of, All for One. Jesus Christ, All for One, who we later on find out that he created the One for All
in his brother.
quirk in his brother, and his brother actually his only quirk was to pass down quirks.
Yeah.
If you're having any trouble, switch quirk with power, superpower,
Yeah.
or mutation.
Yeah.
And that works
Fair.
just the same.
Yeah.
But this is just their world lingo. And through a fist fight, a giant fight that the whole country of Japan will see, as well as the world, All Might has a final fight with
All for
All
One.
for One, and burns the last few embers of One
But
for
wins.
All. But wins, sustaining his stance of being the symbol of peace, but also telling the world that it's up to everyone else.
But
AKA
really-
it's up to
Midoriya.
Midoriya, because he is the one true successor.
It's your turn.
All the
They're-
kids move into dorms together.
The dorms together, they have to start developing their signature moves, but they also get, lastly, introduced to the big three.
Yeah.
And these are the top 3 students of UA. And it leaves off season 3 with a little bit of food for thought of like, it's not what your quirk is, it's how you use your
use it.
quirk. But then this also gets compounded of now they have to start doing actual work studies and not just internships.
Yeah, and the last thing also is that the secret between All Might and Midoriya is now shared with Bakugo.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because
So he
they
knows
fight.
that All Might gave him his power. So it's just
And-
the 3 of them.
and-
And the principal.
and
yeah.
And the nurse.
As far as students, though.
And
Sorry, 5 of them.
Yeah.
and Izuku must find
The detective, I think.
a new mentor that's not Gran
You're
Torino,
right.
who was All Might's mentor.
Yeah,
And it's going to be implied that it will be someone else in the All Might world.
yeah.
So That leads it up. That was like, what, about 10 seconds?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
10 seconds.
Super close.
Something like that.
Super quick.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
well
so,
done.
So Caitlin knows she has the keys on all the Japanese names. So she's going to
For
take
the-
us through the production.
The production. Okay, so for the production side of things, the studio is Bones, and they did like Wolf's Rain, Full Metal Alchemist, Erika 7, and then the showrunners, the director is Kenji Nagasaki, who did number 6, Classroom Crisis, Gundam Build Fighters, and for the writers, it's Yosuke Kuroda, which I'm gonna Englishize some of these Japanese names.
Do it. Do it up.
Do your
Doing our best.
Who is known for Trigun, Tenchi Muyo, Mobile Suit Gundam 00, and S Cryed. And it's based on the manga by Kohei Horikoshi, who did Oh Magadoki Izu and Barrage.
Yeah.
And for the cast, I'm going to do the character name, and then I'm going to do the Japanese voice artist, and then I'm going to do the English voice artist.
And we're only going to do a few of them because
we're only-
there's like
Yeah.
Dozens.
There's so
All of
many
class-
characters.
Dozens of
all
us.
Class B.
Dozens!
Maybe you would say there's 80% of the world
Yeah.
population.
Yeah, it's fair.
in this show.
So, first up is going to be Izuku Midoriya, green hair, hopes and dreams boy. And he in Japanese is voiced by Daiki Yamashita, who is in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Demon Slayer, Food Wars. It's a lot of current shows actually. And then for the English side, it's Justin Briner, shout out, who is who is in Black Clover, Attack on Titan, and Card Capture Sakura Clear Card Arc. And then Katsuki Bakugo is
Fireboy.
voiced
Angry
Fireboy,
Man.
Angry Fireboy. In Japanese is voiced by Nobuhiko Okamoto, who is in Food Wars, Blue Exorcist, Kyoto Saga, and Tiger and Bunny. And then the English version is Clifford Chapin from, I might have pronounced that wrong, Attack on Titan, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Dragon Ball Super. All Might in Japanese is voiced by All Might. If you don't know who All Might is,
He's a superhero Iron Man of the
Basically,
universe.
Hopefully
Superman.
you've watched
he's
the show.
Superman.
before watching
Yeah,
this.
if you've seen
Yeah.
anything to do with the show, you know who All
But
Might
maybe
is.
this will get you to start watching it.
It's true.
Yeah. Spoil
Um,
the first 3 seasons.
The Japanese voice is Kenta Miyake from Final Fantasy 15, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and Gintama. And then the English version is Christopher Sabat.
Yeah.
Shout out
all Saiyans.
to Sabat from Dragon Ball
Best
Z, RWBY, and Fairy Tale, and a
Who does
billion
he
other
play?
things.
So
Yeah.
many things.
In Dragon Ball?
Vegeta.
Vegeta?
Yeah.
Let her do her thing before we cut her off.
And then the last one is going to be Ochako Uraraka. In Japanese, is voiced by Ayane Sakura. Why can't I say the word I know the most?
Ayane Sakura.
Thank you for
Sakura. Oh my
ruining that. From the quintessential quintuplets, Overlord and Lupin the Third. And then in the English version, it's Lucy Christian from Fruits Basket. Hell yeah.
got that one
Appleseed
right.
Ex Machina Vampire Hunter D. This was released on April 3rd, 2016. It's been running
Present.
to present. And currently, what we're talking about is 3 seasons, 63 episodes, currently airing season 4 with 25 episodes. Average runtime for these episodes is about 25 minutes, 23 if you're cutting out intros, outros.
Yep.
No listed budget.
No listed budget because we don't
don't-
do that in anime. The Rotten Tomato score is 100% for the critics, 96%
Way up there.
96% audience score.
96%.
English language.
English
And,
language.
I mean,
Jesus.
really quick, season 4 just started recently, and then it's going to be delayed. Is that what I read?
Well, the last episode of the season 4 has been delayed because of the tsunami that
Yeah.
hit.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
There's a lot of different crises going on everywhere. So, definitely.
Yeah, Shuri Castle just burned down
Yeah.
as well. Like a World Heritage site. Just
Yeah.
like
Whoa.
things are cray right now.
As
So
much
is
as I
most of California around us.
As
Yeah.
much as
That's
I
fair,
love
yeah.
the show, I'm more worried for the people that are
Yep.
making
Definitely.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
But to answer your question, Ollie, he voices Vegeta and
We already
Piccolo.
answered it. Moving on.
So everybody got
You got it.
excited, and I want to know why. That's all.
yeah.
Vegeta
Trying
and
to be
Piccolo.
involved, Tom. So where does that put us now?
First impressions?
Oh, yeah.
It
Oh,
would.
shit.
Initial reaction should have been before the brief
Yeah.
synopsis, but
Yeah.
here we are.
Whoopsie.
I pulled a Corey.
Yeah, you did.
No,
It's
no,
hardcore.
no. Corey puts the first impressions before everything else.
Yeah.
His quirk, skipping other people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Josh, go.
So a few months ago, Nerd On, we got together and we did what we called Anime Day. And pretty much an entire day, we watched basically kind of like the first episode of several shows. Just
Just
to kind of
tasting.
Think of it like a Michelin star restaurant experience. You don't really get full because you just get a small smattering of bullshit.
wow.
Or,
Yeah.
or
That's
delicious
true.
tiny treats.
I've eaten at a Michelin-star restaurant, and
Um,
you get full.
and really, in all honesty, it's kind of because I'm an uncultured swine. I don't have a lot to pull from. Only what we've covered on this show, and didn't really grow up with it. So and it was quite the spattering of different kinds of show.
I mean, just on a shorthand, there was like Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Full Metal
Sailor Moon.
Alchemist,
Sailor Moon.
Gundam
Gundam.
Wing, and then My Hero Academia. And then there was a few that stood out to everybody. Rurouni Kenshin as well.
So My Hero, we watched the first episode, and I was like, what? This is very interesting, because here's the other thing.
We're
is
also
like,
in a superhero
it's
world right now
huge. It's been hugely spoken of
Mhm.
in our community.
in our community.
Bigly spoken of.
Bigly.
Bigly spoken.
Much bigly of.
Hugely spoken of. People have asked for this episode, and I always read those requests and been like, man, I gotta see this show because everybody is talking about it in some way or another.
I mean, shout out to Halo Wing G5, who's been like asking us to do this episode for
Yeah.
years.
Also, Spencer.
Yeah.
Spencer has,
been,
and Boom.
shout
as
out,
well.
shout out to them.
lots of requests
to
for
you
this.
guys.
And,
Shout out to
okay,
Boom.
so first episode, shout out to the night. First episode, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Really, really interested. Immediately put it on because I was also making a list as we were going through this. Immediately
it
went to
twice.
the top of my list, and I probably the week after started watching it and couldn't stop watching it. I just was completely hooked. Everything about it, I was like, this is a lot of fun. It did have tropes, like anime tropes, but the way that they were done, I was like, okay, all right, I'm not bothered by it. And the way that they did this, I did notice that like
Waterboarding ensues.
I did notice that like the lip flaps were on point. Like I was like,
They did a
'cause
very good job.
Sometimes when I was watching it, I'd be like, wow, that was really good.
Means they have money.
Yeah.
It's true.
But
Yeah.
I really appreciated every character was a lot of fun. There were some
Unique.
here and there, they were unique. I just really dug it. And Deku he's like one of my favorite like main
knew it.
characters.
Because he's not a traditional type of hero.
Yeah.
He's not the,
Mhm.
I just do the right thing and
He's not
got
a flat
the will."
character. He's
Yeah.
a robust and round arc.
And
Not even then, I mean, he doesn't have superpower that just makes him like, every obstacle I can overcome.
Right.
and his relationship
But
with
he
All
does.
Might and with Bakugo. I mean, there was just so much that I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I really, really dug it and really excited that the season 4 is out, but I haven't started watching it yet because I wanted to watch this again.
But
So,
I have.
Ollie?
For me, yeah, same
So excited to hear this.
same kind of place as Josh,
Yeah.
where not a lot of anime. Wow, we all have a hard time
As I said,
talking today.
English is hard.
not a lot of
Uh,
anime.
Not a lot of anime.
Let me get a
If you guys, if you listen to the show, you know this already. So I went into it kind of as apprehensive as I would be watching any other anime, but even during our anime day, it didn't really like hook me. What hooked me was like episode 2.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, so this is what the show's gonna be about.
Yeah.
You are worthy.
Exactly. And that hooked me, and I was like, okay,
Shit.
I can get behind this.
Plus,
Like,
all the characters look really different.
the characters look really
It's
different.
very easy for you to distinguish who they are.
Yes, no anime facepalmness here.
It's not like Sims.
You're right, exactly. I had a lot of fun with it. It was I really enjoyed all the characters. Deku was awesome, and I loved him on screen. Usually, I always have some kind of problem with the protagonist of some anime, but
Yeah, Gene Starwin's garbage.
with
Wow.
most. But this one, he was good. I liked this. I liked it a lot. I actually really liked Bakugo as well. I liked their dynamic.
He's a shonen hero. That's what he is.
I do wish it, the stuff, we'll talk about this, but, I do wish some of that stuff happened a little bit earlier in the series.
Mm.
Sure. We'll get into that.
But it was
All
it
in
was
all,
fun. Like, it was fun to watch, and I was looking forward to every episode, and
dope.
especially season 3. Like, season
I'm
3.
actually really excited to hear
Season
that.
3 really, really hooked me. Like, I was really into it.
Wow.
Wow.
And season
Oh.
3
Oh.
specifically was like around, it was like during the kidnapping sequence and then during,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the high stakes.
It,
And
like,
also, you
yeah.
know where all the characters
Kicks
are.
into gear.
But again, you don't get that luxury until you start seeing where all the characters are coming
Right.
from.
Tom, I'd like to hear Caitlin's initial reaction next.
Caitlin?
Okay.
Caitlin? Corey would like to hear your
Yes.
introduction.
Oh, well, I guess I will
Your
tell
turn.
it. Oh, is it me?
Yep.
Oh, well, I guess I'll just talk
So
then.
he voices Vegeta and Piccolo.
Oh my God. Anywho, I started watching this a couple of years ago. And I got through the first 2 seasons and then somehow fell off for the 3rd season. Probably just because I didn't
How
have
dare
access
you.
to it or something. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I had Funimation and then I didn't have the Funimation app and I was like, and then I came back and it was great. It's good to be back. I
So what do you think of the 3rd season then?
I thought it was
Now that you got to see it.
I loved it. I really like how in every season, basically, like they keep the stakes.
Yeah.
They keep the stakes. The characters actually grow. You feel like you're growing with them. You're on the journey with them. It's not like you're watching these people and it feels like there's some weird barrier. It feels like you're in it with them. And that doesn't go away as the seasons go on, which was really nice. Because sometimes the characters get a little too pedestal-y, and these were kept very like grounded, even
Right.
though they were superheroes that, you know, can shoot electricity or
Giving these
sweat
big
glycerin
grandiose
or
speeches and
right.
Yeah.
But it still
But
felt
storytelling
like
wise, like
yeah,
it felt like the right time to do it.
characters, yeah.
yeah. And anime can get kind of like
Stagnant.
fluffy, stagnant, and like too whimsical for its own good.
Yeah.
Like
it
which one?
can a lot.
Well, we were
Um,
saying like it gets too fantastical and stagnant. I was like looking at you, Bleach. But,
Well, I mean, Naruto is now Boruto, which is Naruto's son, and they just did time traveling ninjas.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
fine. It's a new
that feels
thing.
a little too whimsical for its
Fucking
own
new
good.
thing.
It's pretty
They
tame.
introduced a samurai.
This is her opinion.
This is my opinion. Calm yourself.
Well, I refuse.
That's fine. But yeah,
Why are you walking out, Tom?
I thought that everything about it was great, and I'm just excited to be on the ride and continue being on the ride.
Nice.
I'm up to you,
Tom?
man. Whatever you want. You
Tom.
make decisions. Okay, so my turn.
I want to tell mine.
2 for
So-
1.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Honestly,
Tom, I would like Corey to listen to your.
good. I'm glad.
It's Vegeta and Piccolo, by the way.
Our audience would also like to listen to us. Honestly, it's probably shout out to
The night.
the Neuron Nation.
Yeah.
Because I heard about it. It's like Boku no Hero Academia. I was like, all right. Blah.
Boku, not Bakano.
Boku no Hero
Academia.
That's the Japanese way of saying it. But no, a lot of people kept talking about it on our Discord specifically, or through comments, or everything, and like through our Twitch streams. And I was just like, I will say, I think I've seen a fair share of anime, and I was just like, okay.
One might say that.
I'm just like, how good can it be, right? And I was like, whatever, right? Because like I've
Wow.
seen Dragon Ball Z, I've seen other shit. I'm like,
Okay.
whatever,
All
man.
You just
right.
went so hipster
Nothing
into
can,
this. Like,
nothing
no,
can
but
be
here's the
good
thing.
ever again.
you and I, so I had watched like maybe 5 episodes and we went to the gym together and we've been talking through text like, oh man. And then we're talking and I'm like, I didn't want to like it so much. I didn't want to, but when I got into it, I was like, and this is why
Holy shit.
people like it because
Yeah.
it's good.
Well, because like I think the one thing like in terms of like because Dragon Ball Z, Bleach is like in terms of like how crazy fantastic like people are blowing up planets with hands, right? Who like how can you top this, right? And then you have like the smaller stories like Yu Yu Hakusho or like Full Metal Alchemist, where it's like they're powerful, but also the stories are very intimate between them. So I'm like, how whatever, right? So it's like I've seen spectrums of both sides, but this marries all of those things in such a nice way that, you know, kind of to Caitlin's point, like the morals and lessons of the story aren't too preachy, and in some ways, again, it's what I love most about it. It's a commentary about a lot of the things that we're currently interacting with. Again, I say we're in a superhero universe, day and age, where we're super saturated with everything around. You turn left, turn right. Everyone's just trying to buy a property to make us another superhero thing, but not a lot of them talk about what it means to be a superhero. The Boys is probably the closest thing that means like how shitty it could be, but this kind of shows how great and wonderful and hopeful and inspiring it could be, and how fanboys can be honored in such a way in a positive manner. And there are different levels of fanboys, and even then we can kind of keep each other in line and not
Yeah.
cross boundaries.
Well, and I feel like
This
the
is mine.
show is. I'm sorry. I'm just tacking on to this point.
It's Vegeta and Piccolo.
Oh my god.
Thanks.
But like
Wow.
things are crazy in real world right now, and it feels like every time there's a lull and things might like be calm, something crazy happens again. So if anything, it kind of like, do you have this kinship with what the characters are going through? Because it's like, I know things happen for a reason, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, and the cool thing, like, it's a funny thing. I actually would go against your statement of like that the stakes kind of change and it doesn't feel too stagnant. For the first few seasons, like it actually stays the same, and now we're recently just getting to the point where like what's important is different.
Right.
And the thing I think what made it so palatable was the fact that like the stake has always been the same in terms of like one theme in a sense where it's like we have
I
to
want to
keep
be
this,
the greatest hero.
well, we have to keep the secret between Deku and All Might of like he's his true successor and that his power is going away. And by the end of season 3, that's gone. So this is a new status quo change that like the world knows that All Might has retired. The world knows that
Right.
like there is going to be a successor, but we don't know who it is. And that heroes are on the rise. But then from season 1 through 3, it's been very much like, how does this character that is supposed to be us, like who knows as much as any fanboy would know about this world, but also experiencing it for the first time, like us, how does he navigate through it? And also,
So like if we got powers tomorrow.
yeah, like so
Right.
the first
Studying
season
with
really
them.
like navigates through like this is what it is to be in a classroom and this is what it's like to like be around students who are better than you. Like and we all have that relatability to that. And second season, it's all like the world is watching us and like we're all competing against other schools now or other classes now. And then the third season's all like, well, now we're getting more involved in like the actual work life and like
Right.
this is how it's going to be. But I think it's still all surface level shit where like we're going to start delving into it even more. But it's
Well,
been like a
it's-
nice curation of it so far.
It's coming away from like the fantasy of wanting to be a hero into the reality of being a hero.
Like what it actually means.
Right.
Yeah, like I mean, but other shows like sometimes they stagnate in the sense of like, here's this new guy who wants to end the world, and here's another tournament, and it's even more powerful. It's like it's the same shit.
That was just the
obviously.
qualifiers.
It's
oh
like-
God.
It's like I'm just the fucking uncle of the bad guy. It's like all right, whatever.
Now you get to deal with his cousins.
Yeah, and it's like all right. But then this time, like the villains have stayed the same, but you kind of said like it's the story of actually Tomura Shigaraki as well as Deku at the same time, them both growing in their respective fields because they both, in a way, had no real reason to be involved in the superhero world, but then got forced into it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's a wonderful show and I love it.
I really love All for One and One for All. Like those powers.
Yeah.
Like, because that was kind of the turning point of like the old gods had to die so that the new gods can come up.
Yeah.
And that, like, I just love that they both survived through it too and just have those like calm on the other side of the glass conversations about like, oh, I'll be important to the plot later, but I'll just sit here for now.
But I mean, as media has shown us, like you never have the villain behind glass.
Yeah.
They always break out and they always
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
shit up.
Oh,
But then
yeah.
like I love to see
be there.
I love to see like how they're going to change it because they've done it really well. Where like every single trope of superhero shit that they use, they kind of turn it on its head a little bit or look at it through a different perspective.
Right.
Corey?
Yeah, I was the same thing. I had heard a lot about the show. I didn't watch it until Anime Day. And I thought it was pretty cool. I wasn't hooked right away, much like Ali. It took me a few episodes to really get into it. I was interested in a couple of the side characters a lot, actually, and I'm glad that it explored a lot of the side characters, more so than most shows do, where it felt like they weren't actually side characters. They're super.
They weren't
integral to the
background
story.
images.
The way Tom explained it the other night when we were hanging out, it's like Harry Potter meets superheroes.
Yes.
And I loved
Yeah.
that. I thought that was
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, it's the same thing. Like you're a wizard, Harry. Like you're a
Yeah.
superhero, Deku. Like
School
same
for
same
gifted.
thing.
I always think about the elevator pitch, baby.
Yeah. So, you know, I spent the last couple months kind of burning through the show, and yeah, I love it. I think it's a really creative idea. I'm really excited. No episode really felt like I wanted to skip it, or like felt like I could skip it, except for maybe one.
I wonder which one it is.
And it was pitched as such, so I did. Pretty much.
That's not good.
I'll admit I pretty much fast forwarded through that episode.
Which one?
I
It's
think
the
it's episode
episode
58.
That
bedrooms?
that talks about this.
No,
it's the
no,
one
I
with-
love that episode.
Oh, really?
It's literally the one they say this is a special episode. It has
Oh,
nothing to do
right.
with what's
I
going
actually
on.
Did,
Oh, oh,
I
oh.
actually did skim through that and realized there wasn't really anything
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
So
That's fair.
aside
That's
from
fair.
that, every episode felt really important, which I really liked. I'm so used to. I grew up with Dragon Ball Z, so I grew up with a lot of like 6 or 7 episodes before the important thing would happen, where people would just be charging up, being like, "I'm getting stronger."
I
Like,
tell you
okay,
this right now. I'll defend those fillers left and right.
go for it. It's
For
not gonna
Dragon Ball
work
Z,
on me,
but not for other animes.
Yeah,
other animes
sure.
are garbage.
There's one in this one.
Wow.
still,
Basically.
so it was refreshing. I was definitely going and expecting that kind of stuff, and it wasn't there. So it moved really well. Each season felt really, the arcs felt really contained and very different. Like I could tell you just by watching an episode
Yeah.
which season it's in. And I think that's really says something to the writing because they're paying attention to their characters and the world as a whole. I thought the voice acting was on point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I fell in love with a lot of the side characters. Actually,
I really
over
did
the-
like the way they did the arcs. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like they didn't draw it out for the whole season. You know, like we can get sometimes here in the States or whatever. But
Yeah, I mean, there was some real feels in this.
they're like,
in
hey,
these-
this arc is
show.
like 10 episodes long, and
Yeah.
and then we're moving on. It's like,
Yeah,
cool.
But I also,
or even like 3 or 4.
I also liked how each character, like every time you got back to them, they don't let you forget that they're still dealing with whatever they're going through. So the progression feels like, oh, it's still going on. Like Yayarozu is still trying to find her own confidence all the time.
There were, I mean,
I love that.
the thing that impressed me the most, and I'll say it again, is the fact that they brought these. I feel bad calling them side characters.
They're
but,
side characters.
but they are, because they're more than side characters than any other show that I've watched, especially in the anime genre. A lot of
Yeah.
side characters can really fall to the wayside as I'm gonna pop in for a
These
joke
are,
here.
These are the
and-
most realized side characters ever. It makes you think about how other side characters are, and you're like, oh, those are garbage.
Well, what I was
then.
gonna say is I'm actually more interested in some of the side characters than I am in the main characters.
Yeah.
And that's really good.
Yeah, it's really
So,
cool.
That's hard to do. Should we
Well,
just
it's-
dive on
It's
into
you,
like
you built a really good world. I
like
will
we
make
are,
one
yeah.
disclaimer real quick. The episode they were talking about was talking about a little featurette of this movie that we have in our video version.
Is
if
it
you're
this
not
one?
watching it. Yeah, so that's that happens and it talks about you, because really the main thing is that the episode opens up with like he got an email from his old sidekick Dave, and then at the end of the episode he goes to Izuku Midoriya's house, and then that movie starts.
right?
I will go back and watch that episode, but it was like weirdly right in the middle of like a very climactic like event.
I love
Yeah, when they're getting their
So-
Is this just
Yeah,
the
it's
episode or
right
is
in
this
the
a
middle
movie
of
version?
it's an OVA, so it's original
And
video.
they even call it out of like, wait, I'm right in
it's
the
like-
middle of this climactic moment. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's fine. Shh, go
and then
over
it's
here.
like it's like 3 faculty members watching TV in the back, like while the testing's going on. It's like, no,
Yeah.
give me back in action.
So we're not going to talk about this movie,
No.
although everyone should watch it. But that movie in itself, you don't really have to watch it to know what's happening in the show.
Got it.
But it's just cool.
That just
like,
expands a little bit more on that, because that's the stuff I was interested in. I was really bored by the jewel heist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the jewel heist,
Training
apparently
exercise.
in the
Yeah.
Japanese, it's an extended one.
Okay,
There's like more where other class members do it. And so you
I would
see,
have been more interested in that.
and so you see
I would
like to see it
Pop
from
Off
different-
and Yayarozu in their
Mineta?
team.
Grape juice.
Yeah. Whatever his name is. Yeah.
That's his superhero name.
I'm just whatever. I just call him
I
Pop
thought
Off.
it was Grape Rush.
Maybe that's it. No,
Is
that's
that-
his ability.
move. That's his
Oh.
move.
So
That's-
is that like his skin kind of that he's
It's
like
his
feels
hair,
every
He starts
time?
bleeding.
He's
Yeah.
bleeding.
Yeah.
Favorite
Holy-
parts.
Favorite parts. Okay.
The show.
I got a fucking list.
show.
I love the show.
Actually,
I have a shorter list, but yeah.
I was just gonna say so anytime we do an episode, I always sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put all my notes down, and I started listing
Favorite parts.
favorite parts, and I'm like, it's just gonna be a couple, and then I just kept listing, and I was like, oh yeah, and then that happened. Oh shit, and then that happened.
half
I
the
got
time
mine
was-
down to 3.
half of the time I was just like, let me write this whole episode.
I can say my very favorite,
I've
Do
got-
it.
but it's the top one, and it's Deku versus Todoroki in the games.
Fucking finger blast.
It's more so like, so when the games start, they're all like, listen, you guys, we have to go for it.
Yeah.
Like, we have to beat each other to be number one. And they're all kind of in that like very competitive edge.
Except
And-
bitch ass Totoro.
When you're getting down to the last few, and Deku is egging Todoroki on, like in a way of like he's pushing him because he sees the struggle that's happening in Todoroki between what happened to him with his mom and his dad's a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad. And so he's
And
in this,
devil.
he has this internal struggle that is his outward struggle, which is fire and ice.
Which is
And
how
it's just
most
so-
conflict should be. You hear that, writers?
But it was just so interesting that Deku was just
Being a
taking
hero.
a beating, and he's pushing his friend on to be like, so he can be better.
Yeah.
Because Todoroki is incredibly powerful if he.
I mean, him and
Doesn't hold
Bakugo have
back.
the
He
same
doesn't,
thing
yeah.
in mind, is like, I want to fight you at your fullest potential, but they have
Right.
different ways of means for it.
Todoroki is
Right.
actually like a broken person. He's like
Yeah.
Batman, and Bakugo is pretty much like
Bakugo's like, I just want to beat you
Yeah.
while you're at your fullest. And then Midoriya's like, you should just be you. It's your power. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
That's why
Mm-hmm.
Bakugo's.
Yeah.
How about you, Corey? Or you do one, and then we'll go around Robin.
Sure. I mean, that was on my list of 3 for sure. I was probably glued to the TV that
Fucking
whole
yeah.
time.
when he
But
uses
I watched it a couple of
good.
times.
that's what I was gonna
So
say.
good.
But my top favorite part for some reason was Froppy and Tokiyami's trial against the teacher who could duplicate.
ectoplasm.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I could not look. I was like on the edge of my seat for that entire thing,
You
and
didn't know.
seeing the two of them work together really well, and like people had just failed before that.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the two of those. Those are two of my favorite characters in the show, getting to work together, and it's like an episode all about them.
love
So
I loved seeing all the pairs go.
like seeing them
Yeah.
toss each other up
Yeah.
midair was like the coolest thing.
Oh, with their tongue? It's fucking
yeah, and then
gangster.
Dark Shadow would grab her and throw her up, and they just did this like upwards repel thing. It was like the coolest. And then being stuck inside of his like ectoplasm stuff, and she hands Dark Shadow the one thing he needs to. I don't know. It was a really wonderful episode from start to finish, but especially that section of it, I was really hooked
Yeah.
on. And I thought the ectoplasm guy's design was one of the coolest teachers there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could not get over that. I was like, I want more of that guy.
He looked
and he hasn't shown up really
super
since.
cool. I know.
But I hope he does because his voice was really cool.
Yeah.
His power was really cool, and his design was awesome. So it's trifecta.
Yeah.
But yeah, that trifecta was pretty sweet.
Fair.
Nice.
Next.
Oh my god.
I have one
Yes.
I'd love to share. Probably my favorite moment of the whole series is when Ida punches Deku right in the fucking face.
Oh,
Um,
right before they go on the mission?
No, it's they're I think they're damn it, I
Outside of the
forgot.
hospital?
They're somewhere. And
Okay, so
they're-
what, give me the context, yeah.
So they're like, so Deku wants to go after
Fuck
Ida.
oh.
It's episode.
Oh.
I have it. It's episode 46.
Yeah, it's when they want to go to
Deku
save
wants to
Bakugo.
break the rules.
Yeah. And then he's like, don't you think
and-
like I'm worried for him too? I'm the class representative, but
Well-
you can't keep breaking the rules.
Well, that wasn't it. But the reason it became my favorite one was because he was like, I'm worried about you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I'm worried about all the kids. And like I thought that was like a really powerful moment of making him
Yeah.
realize
class
Or
rep.
Midoriya, yeah.
help Midoriya realize that it wasn't just about Bakuno, it was about Bakugo.
Bakugo.
He said it.
But it was about everybody,
Yeah.
including
I mean, also
Deku.
Froppy's in there too.
Yeah.
And Froppy's like, if you know you're breaking the rules, then you're just acting like a villain.
yeah. But I'm
It's
a
an
big
intense
fan
moment.
of Ida's.
You know?
Her moment after
Oh
the
my god.
Oh,
dorms.
the
Yep,
dorm.
that's one of my favorite moments
Fucking crap.
of like,
You want to go to yours? Yeah.
yeah, of her like,
Fucking crying.
well, like being that person who actually rounds up all of her friends and is like, hey,
I
this
don't-
was
I
this
thought
was
I stopped you.
I thought that I said something, and it wasn't until today that I found out that you didn't listen to me, and I feel useless because of that. And
Oh.
that sucks.
I thought it was more of like, it's not that I felt useless, but also that I wasn't there
Yeah.
for you guys.
I was
That's what I got
well,
from it.
like
Is that like I
I-
And
said?
that's
Good.
why she didn't want to be part of the dorm room thing, because she's like, I'm not part of this group.
right.
And that's
It's
where like
fucking
nonsense.
sad as shit.
Yeah, and well, like that they have a conversation about, you know, whatever was uncomfortable, and she thought that she had said something and been heard and then not,
Yeah.
and then actually
yeah, 'cause
talking to everybody after the fact. That's
she
what
was
I
saying.
like.
She said like, I thought you didn't go, so I didn't go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I just sat at home thinking everything was fine, and you guys were fighting for your lives, and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of fighting for your life, another one of my favorite parts, just because like
don't
you
have to go yet.
fully understand. That's fine. You fully understand how terrifying All for One is.
Mhm.
Is
Oh.
like that moment
When he
when
comes.
everything's been blown
and all
up.
the kids
And
are like
they're
shaking.
like standing and shaking, and every single one of them, I don't know why I remember it so vividly, was like holding their breath.
No, yeah,
Of like, if I so much as even
Well,
breathe,
you hear
right
the little
now.
violin, the little orchestral shit, and then like your boy
Bang.
Tanya holds Deku, just like, don't move.
Yeah. He
Don't
like the
fucking-
terror.
I was so
Yeah.
mad. And with his fucking mustache, just like, don't do it. And I was like,
do
oh,
it. They were just,
shit,
like,
it's
shaking the
intense.
entire time.
It's so good.
It's that was one of the like, you really feel the stakes of exactly how like,
It was right
do
after that
not
moment.
fuck up right now.
Well, that was like the greatest way to kind of introduce a villain.
yeah.
Because it's like, you have these pro heroes here, you think everything's fine, but the danger is so close.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If I'll say my number one favorite moment, probably, and I was trying to show Corey and Dana this, shout out to you, a while ago before you even started watching it, and it was after the events of the rescue mission, and it's when they meet up on the beach, when Deku and All Might meet up on the beach that he cleaned up at first, and he says you disobeyed orders, like you risked your lives. And I'm so proud of you.
Oh.
And you're just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's that great. To me, that's the thing I love about this show is that you have the pseudo father figure who is willing to kind of like put down like, here are the rules, but also knowing that like what we do is breaking the rules all the time, and also like if you act like a hero, even if you did the stupidest, dumbest thing, that makes you the hero. And like every time that All Might just becomes that father figure for a quick second and just like rewards Izuku's faith and hope in the world that like what you're doing is right. Every single time I was like, these are the hero moments that need to happen more often. And it's like, fuck. And it's just kind of like in a weird way, it's like in-word version of at the end of The Dark Knight when Batman says at the end, put your name down. And he gets rewarded for his faith in humanity. It's like, oh, it's that to me like always gets me. Any moment between Izuku and All Might fucking get me. So if I go to season 1, the open just when All Might offers him his powers,
That's my third moment.
fucking crying on the ground, holding his heart, and remembering when he said, "Mom, those are not the words I needed to hear that day."
Yeah.
When the world was falling apart all around me, and then All Might's there, scraggly as fuck, in the sunset, silhouetted, and says, "You too can be a hero." It's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
That's my number one moment on my list.
Because you get this same feeling from the main character Izuku of like helplessness, but wanting to do great things for the world. You know, it's fun to be a hero in that world, but also to save people's lives is a selfless thing to do, and that's all he wants, and such a selfless thing to do, and yet. You know, that's the problem with evil, quote unquote. Like, that's the South Park thing. That's the problem with evil. It's like the good people don't get anything.
Yeah.
And then All Might Ex Machina comes in saying like, hey man, like you are worthy of this quirk. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's easy to level up when you're a novice.
Yeah.
I
Powerful
think
start.
2 moments that like help make the world feel really real, that made the world feel very real for me, was when Bakugo, they go through all this trouble of showing how strong he is and how great he is, and then this fucking slime ball just is like, yeah, you're dead. I'm actually gonna use you as a puppet for like probably all your life.
Yeah.
And that was horrifying. And you're just like, oh, everyone's in danger all the time, even with All Might around. And then the other one was after they defeat the hero killer Stain, and then the wolf dog head chief of police comes in and is like, there's so much red tape you guys are like involved in right now. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But also, I'm super proud of you.
But also I'm super proud of you. And we were like,
as long as no one knows about it, I'm cool with it.
So it never has to take all the credit, by the way. Okay, bye.
yeah.
Another favorite part was kind of low key. Was when Shigaraki, the basically kind of the main antagonist,
Yeah.
in a
Candyman?
sense. Handyman.
Tomura.
He's just kind of like walking around, like kind of going through his thoughts, and they're all at the mall. And they come into contact, him and Deku, and they're having this like really low key conversation, and it's just like in the middle of
Well, he puts his arm
everybody.
around him. And
Yeah.
he's like,
My finger touches your throat. My father was a...
Yeah, he definitely had a Joker
The
feel.
thing I really love about him, it's a weird small thing. I love his scratching.
Yeah.
His
That-
fucking nervous quirk of just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tom and I talked about
Nervous
this.
quirk.
Tom and I talked about this. The voice actor's voice, I feel, fit this role so much better than it did in
Fruits
Fruits
Basket.
Basket.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Who was he in Fruits Basket?
He's
Silver
Cla-
hair guy.
He's Yuki.
Yuki.
He's a rap boy.
Rat boy.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
was the one that you were like.
And I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, oh. But it works really well in this
It's
character.
different.
It like hit.
It's
Yeah.
different.
I mean, he
though.
changes it a little
Yeah.
bit, but
Yeah.
it's the same actor, same kind
Same
of
actor?
vocal quality. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, this.
I
That
did-
worked.
I
Just
did-
like the voice actor of Kyo is the president. Little
Oh yeah.
little mouse
that
man.
I hear.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
All Might is the long-haired silver dude who's like all sexually
Ayame.
curvy.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Vegeta and Piccolo.
Versatility as a voice actor.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah, acting. But the thing I really like about Tomura Shigaraki when he first starts the attack at the USJ is everything he kind of says is very like they start using video game jargon.
Oh
There's
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
it's like this is the next level. It's like I'm not the final boss, he is. I was like, okay, I see where you're going here with this, baby.
Yeah.
Like, but also, fuck, man. When you see Aizawa, Eraserhead, finally whoop some motherfucking ass,
Aizawa.
fucking with this goggles and
Yeah.
his eyes.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was sexy.
'Cause he-
Corey, come on.
He's
Oh
such
yeah.
a
Are you kidding me? That's one of my favorite characters.
he's such a badass, and you only know it in words right now, like
And he
the way
looks
that he
homeless.
speaks and the way that he presents himself. And then when you see him in battle, you're like, damn.
I love his hair.
He's like, look, I don't give a fuck.
his
I'm
hair.
here to teach you guys everything. And then when the shit hits the fan, he's like, everybody get back. And you're like, whoa.
Well, I love how like
Just
everything
turning
he,
off quirks left and right.
everything does is like, oh, it's a lie. I
Yeah.
lied. He's like, it was a good lie though. I mean, it was good.
It
for
got
reason.
you where you needed to go.
Yeah. Every time All Might fucking barfs out blood,
Oh.
it's just like I'm here.
Or anytime he gets surprised, he does it too.
Yeah.
He's just like, ah!
And it's just like it in a weird way. It's kind of like what you do, Corey. Like you kind of make a comic moment out of like.
Stop barfing up blood.
I know, I gotta try to stop.
Well, no, it's like a sad thing. He's
Yeah.
like fucking dying, and
Oh,
his like,
yeah.
entire stomach's removed. But it's how he copes with it in a comic way.
For those who don't know, I make really dark jokes to help me deal with sad things. That's
Yeah.
my way of dealing
It's a
with stuff.
good. I think that's honestly a good way to go. About
Makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
it. Oh, when Deku punches the 0-point robot.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's
when-
so
Oh, yeah.
satisfying.
Uraraka
Right in the
is like
nose.
pinned down, and he's like doesn't know what to do, so he redoes what he did Bakugo, and just fucking jumps in the air and just like demolishes it. And it's like he's like, but this also at the time is like he's freaking out. He has no points. People around him are all kicking ass, and he's like he has no way how to use his powers yet. And that's the one thing I love about this show is like every time Deku gets like a level up, is
Yeah.
like there's always something that has to be taken away. Like every time he used his like powers, like it hurt him. Every time like he got a new suit, he would destroy it or something like that. And then he's like, okay, I'm doing this wrong. And so he's like, he's constantly learning. It's not like, here's a new suit, and now you know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? The great thing about every time that he messes up, it's he'll mess up something in an official way, like punching the 0-point robot, but it's still like 100 points to Gryffindor at the end of the,
Yeah.
of
Because
the
he's
fucking thing.
rescue points.
Well, like,
Yeah.
all of his mess ups technically are just steps forward.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not really mess ups.
Right.
Like, what else was he gonna do against Muscle Man?
Die.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, run
there's-
away.
it's usually a rock and a
There
hard
was no
space where
run
he's like,
away.
I gotta do this. I have to.
Yeah.
Well, that was. I think that was more for the kid, obviously.
Yeah.
That was
Which
that was
also,
for
I want
Coda.
that kid's hat, the fucking red hat
Right,
with the horns.
That was
Yeah, dope.
cool as fuck.
Also, so Uraraka's fight against Bakugo.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Gangster as fuck.
Yes.
Uraraka's the zero
Ochako.
gravity. Zero
Your-
gravity.
Your
girl.
gravity?
Oh yeah.
And like just everyone's like he's gonna destroy her, and everyone knows, and we all kind of knew too, but it's like she doesn't give the fuck up. And then immediately after that fight though, she's like, I'm gonna learn hand-to-hand fighting combat. It's like, hell yeah, that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another
I
one
liked
of
her a
my
lot.
favorite moments was
Of course you do, Ollie.
I think it's actually the last episode of season 3 is Kitty Pryde comes in and beats them all up. Boy,
But
Kitty-
the way that he does
Yeah.
it though.
Power.
yeah. I thought that was a great episode.
What was his line about? Like, I tried to make sure none of you saw my willy.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry if
he
you
was-
saw my
he was
Willy.
so
I tried to
cute.
make sure you
Oh,
I
did.
was like, I tried really hard.
No, I just thought that was a really good show of like everything they've learned so far still
Is
means nothing
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
To a year 3.
Mhm.
And that guy's probably on his way to becoming the closest to the number one hero,
Right.
even though he's still in high school.
And he looks a lot like All Might.
Yeah, he
Um,
do.
So I
With
thought
weird
his character
eyes.
introduction was phenomenal, scaring the shit out of Deku.
Hi.
But also when he's at the classroom, he's like, oh, so none of you have a sense of humor.
Yeah, he's like, I see my joke didn't work because of you, not because of me. I was like,
I like that a lot.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it. He was wrong, but I liked it. But that fight was great because you do see that despite all your powers, it means nothing if you don't know how to use it, which is exactly everything we've learned about Midoriya from the beginning is how that little book he has,
Yeah.
all the studying he did is more useful than the quirks themselves, which is huge, which is like, I've watched 3 seasons of this and been like, that's right. That's right. He was going to be a hero all along because he actually knew the most.
He's like, Bakugo always pulls back for a
Yeah.
right hook. And it's like, mm-hmm.
Well, like also with that moment, because we've just gotten, as an audience, we've just experienced like, I'm going to say badassery. It's just so much fighting. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And this is kind of the lull after the craziness. And you're like, oh, they are so strong. Deku has his new powers because he realized he can use he can
His
kick
feats.
too.
Which, by the way,
Tiki
is
Beats.
dope.
a huge. What wasn't another favorite moment? I was like, oh my god, it kind of blew my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
kicks,
Yeah.
But
kicks
then,
McGillicuddy,
Shoot style.
but then they just get quote,
annihilated
massacred by 3 people, and it's their whole class,
by
and they're like,
one person,
Yeah.
and not 3
okay.
people, one person.
That's right.
They don't get
The other
massacred.
2 watched.
They just get
Yeah.
punched in the stomach really
Real
hard.
hard.
He doesn't know how to hold back.
I would say, I mean, this kind of goes as an overall tonish thing. I think something that they do really right in terms of anime, as well as any type of fighting. like you can have the flashiest fight in the world, and that's great. And you can have like the two strongest beings in the world, that's great. But the thing what I love about My Hero Academia is that any two combatants fighting, you always know what the emotional stake is as well as the psychological stake of each character is.
Yeah.
And that creates the like manifests into a physical confrontation.
Yeah. Well, every fight pushes the story too. There's no useless fighting.
Yeah. But it, like also like you kind of like know as well, like there's so much more behind each thing. Like All Might fighting a Nomu isn't the fact of like, oh, like can he beat it? It's more like, can he still prove to these kids as well as to himself that like he could still be the hero that they need, especially against someone that isn't just going to go out in one punch. So far, we've only seen him fight one person just like punch and a fucking typhoon goes away. But then this fight is the first time, and like he's getting hurt, and someone who's just as strong as him, and so he's like, all right, I should just and like he knows he's in pain and he knows he's getting hurt and damaged, and in front of everybody, what he has to do is like, all right, I got to put my back into it, putting on a show to make sure that everyone else knows that like he's still All Might.
Here.
And it's like
I
I'm
am
here. And that's I think the one thing that's I think wonderful every time they fight is just like we always know what's at stake for them. That's more than just like, oh, it's the fate of the world. But it's more like, no, like it's important that Deku proves to Todoroki that like this is your quirk, not your dad's.
Yeah.
Like it's important for Uraraka to be like, no, I'm gonna become a hero to help my parents who've always supported me. And Baku is like, I need to become number one unequivocally, like without a shadow of a doubt. And so it's like always really great. And Ida is always like, I need to fight because I need to prove that I can be Ingenium. I need to be my brother's brother.
And that's another great thing about like the fights that happen too is you're so involved in each individual character's story that when they're directly in peril, you forget that other characters kind of exist for a little bit. So when they swoop in to help, you're like, oh shit, that's right, there are other people here.
Yeah.
And that's like they drive that point home, and that like being a hero is about working together towards a common goal. And they reinforce that several times with like Todoroki and the wind guy for the provisional test.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about season 2 is that
Or pairing.
it slowed down to talk, not slowed down, but it spent like an episode on it, on each character. It seemed.
Right.
Purposefully pairing Midoriya with Bakugo.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That was cool.
And I think those are like the mole moments that I noticed, like individual things in fights, like the
So
provisional
those are bad
test.
things.
No, like good moles.
Your moles have been bad.
Well, then now they're good. So there. But like Uraraka and Ochako and Tape Elbows Man, Seto, setting up that like trap for people. Like you completely like forget that she was even there because you were worried about Tape Boy and like Midoriya and everybody else. And just like everything felt so seamless because everybody's so smart.
Yeah.
Like they don't treat any of the side characters like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and then they fall in a trap. Like everyone's smart and sets things up for them to pay off like immediately, and it's great.
For the most part, there's a few.
There are a few.
One thing I really liked was Hatsume. Hatsume is the support class girl.
Yeah.
And then when they're developing their new suits and all this stuff, and then like all the suits almost like kill Izuku.
Oh, right.
And then the pro hero next to her says the quote, "Common sense is a collection of prejudices acquired by 18. Innovators can't be chained down by convention." And so like you see how she's always creating. So it's like, again, it's more exploration of the fact that like there aren't just people who are fighty. And like even during the sports festival, it's like they're showing the business class people and then they're showing the support
Or the
class.
internships, they show a lot of the
And so like it's really, and then
retail and
Well, like even the guy that Ida goes under internship with, and he's like, I don't know why you would go under me. Like I'm just a safety guy. I'm just a rescue hero. And it's like, oh,
he's
there's
like, but
different
I do
heroes.
know that your brother was hurt here, and I hope you
Yeah.
don't think about running off and doing something stupid. And he's like,
I was just thinking that.
Nothing.
Speaking of also
Nothing.
Sue's internship,
Oh,
Froppy's
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When
The
she
maritime adventure.
that was probably one of my favorite episodes. Actually,
Anytime Froppy's on it, I'm like, this is gonna be a good episode.
Yeah.
Like when they first got stranded in the USJ, and she's like, they must not know that my quirk is water. I was like, she's fucking dope.
yeah,
She's
I like
fucking
her a lot.
dope.
yeah, her going like, yeah, they must not know anything about us because why would they put me in the water part of the park?
But also like the fact that Mineta like was scared and grabbed onto her and grabbed her boob, and then she, like next cut, her drowning him. I was
Yeah.
like, fucking dope.
I love that everyone hates Mineta. A little bit.
I love him as a character. I don't think he's a cool person though.
No.
Very
funny.
small detail, and it's very on the nose, but I love it. But headphone jack, she has actually waveforms in her
Yeah.
hair.
Jiro, yeah.
It's so on the
There's
You
little
love
videos
that. You
like
love
that
that
all the
shit.
time.
It's almost like our logo.
Um,
Almost.
And I just also like, aside from Bakugo, how willing they are to work together with even class like 1B. Like I forget the metal guy's name, but he's the exact carbon copy.
Oh, yeah.
Kirishima.
Yeah, but then as soon as he loses, he helps him up. Kirishima. No, I'm talking the metal guy.
I know. Kirishima holds him.
Yeah.
It's like Tatsu.
Yeah.
Helps him up, and they become friends. They go to the same internship, and there's like, it's most of the time a friendly competition.
It's a real.
Aside from like 1 or 2,
they're proper rivals.
yeah, and I really dig that. I not everything has to be Bakugo level. Like, I'm gonna kill you. You're like, oh Jesus,
You
can we just like
bastard!
But
compete?
Kirishima also voiced Justin Cook, aka Yusuke Urameshi,
Yeah, he did.
fucking Yu Hakusho. So I was like, oh, I can't.
Justin Cook, the man, the Funimation
The
himself.
Funimation
Yeah.
man. Yeah, seriously.
Cool.
Favorite characters?
Yeah, I have
Oh,
2
man.
questions actually. I have favorite characters, but also favorite quirk.
Ooh.
I feel like is a good question.
I will
for
say
this
one
episode.
thing real quick is during one of the finals with Yaoyorozu and Todoroki being paired up together going against Aizawa, and then Yaoyorozu had to learn that she's better at strategy than Todoroki is.
Oh yeah,
That's the thing I really liked about that.
Hmm.
Because she's better at that shit. Because she was also
she wasn't sure of herself.
she was a recommendation student.
Yeah,
So okay, so favorite character, favorite quirk.
yeah. You can do it in any order you want.
Well, then you
Who
start,
wants to
Corey.
start
So
us
you're the
off?
one that. You're...
Well, my favorite character list is cut into 2 sections.
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna follow suit.
And it answers the favorite quirk question. So, as far as like power goes, quirk and design, it's Fumikage for sure. The crow,
Oh,
Oh.
Dark
yeah.
Shadow.
Tokiyami.
Yeah. I mean that's just and then I also loved Eraser.
Revelry in the dark.
But my favorite characters as far as story goes is Froppy
Mhm.
and Todoroki
Okay, holy shit. So you had 2 favorite characters for story, and then 2 favorite characters for
quirk.
Okay.
Yeah, because I couldn't decide. I mean, as far as the quirk goes, I would say it would be Tokoyami.
For those who are listening, what is Tokiyami's quirk?
So first of all, he looks like a crow, which is shout out to my favorite bird of all time. But second of all, he
Shout
has
out.
a power called Dark Shadow,
Yeah.
and it's basically this piece of him. And the darker it gets, the more powerful it gets, and
Wilder
eventually
it gets.
you can't control it. So,
Too dark, too
Revelry
edgy.
in the dark.
but like his power, his ultimate he eventually gets with Black Abyss is like the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Fucking on him.
But then I just had to
Covered
give a
in
shout out to
shadow.
Eraserhead because I love his character.
What's his
design.
quirk?
He erases quirks. Basically turns them off like a light
Keeps his
switch.
eyes on you, and when his eyes are on you, his hair flares up.
And he can use the like his
That's just a
bandages,
that's just a
'cause
I think
support
it's just a
thing.
weapon.
That's just
Yeah.
like a uniform thing.
No,
But
I
his
know,
actual,
but I'm
he
just
asked
saying,
what his
he
quirk
can do
was.
it.
His
Quirk.
quirk.
Oh, I'm
though.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Because
Yeah.
There's a
Confused.
specific question. Yeah. So yeah, but Froppy and Todoroki for sure, story wise. Like if they wanted to just spin off and do stories about them, I'd be right there.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I would love to see more Tokiyami, please. If season 4, give me a whole story arc with him.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think that's where it comes into where a lot of animes fall into that trap. They do sometimes summer seasons, and
Yeah.
they'll do like 4 episodes, and it's just like
I'd
a
be
small light
totally
story.
fine with that. Watching Dark Shadow go nuts, and then
Was so
Bakugo being like, hold, and it takes out like 3 or 4 guys. He's like, all right, now, light. I'm like, oh.
But then I love that
Badass as
Bakugo was
shit.
like, I'm always the worst guy to fight against.
He
I'm like,
was.
fucking Bakugo, man.
Because you see him like fuck up 4 people in the tournament, and then Bakugo just owns him real quick because light. That's all it is. Yeah.
Dude, me?
Yep.
Yeah, you took the spotlight, man. Go for it.
I made a noise and then regretted it.
Okay, so you can pick 2
Um,
for your favorite quirk, and then 2 for story.
No, I actually got one answer for everything.
Okay,
Okay.
Oh,
It's Bakugo.
Bakugo for story and quirk.
I like.
Bakugo for life. Apparently.
Okay, so we've never done like favorite character like for story as the. As
I was
the
just
addendum.
breaking them down
But yeah,
why I
but,
like
like,
those characters.
His story obviously doesn't have much to it for Bakugo yet, but I really enjoyed his character, and
Well-
he was fun to watch. Like even though he was like
Let-
raging on everything.
Let's discuss it a little bit. I mean, like
Yeah.
he grew up just like Deku, as well as all the other kids who looked up to All Might.
Right.
And even then, as a young kid, he was getting bullied, and
Mhm.
he bullied the upperclassmen.
Mhm.
And then when he found out his power is strong, then he had his own entourage, and he always worried that Deku looked down on him.
Yeah.
And he always lashed out at Deku because Deku was always so willing to help him whenever he was.
I
on the
really
ground.
enjoyed that story arc, even though like it happens a little late. You know, I feel like maybe end of season 2 maybe could have been good. Just so we can kind of get more of that story progressed or whatever. But I don't know. And his powers are kind of
fucking OP.
freaking awesome.
They're
Like
OP as
they're
fuck.
like explosions,
can
and then
fly.
you can kind of
He
control
can
that however
create
you
fire
want. Basically,
like
yeah,
flare.
Oh my god.
like flare.
Except not create oxygen.
Hey,
So he doesn't
it's a
create
heat
fire. That's
shield.
Todoroki.
Yeah, he creates
He gets
explosions
explosions.
out of nicer.
I know. I was saying that
Close.
it's
It's
like
very close.
it's like Ollie's
With his gloves, he can create a
OC.
beam though.
That's true. That's cool as hell.
Yeah. So
Um,
I mean, and just
I
the
did
fact
like
that
when they
it's
taught
like
the acid girl to like.
it's kind of gross, but the fact that he's like building up his sweat inside of the grenade
Oh.
hands.
But then he could throw off the grenade and give it to somebody.
yeah, like
That's really dope.
that's
That
pretty
was
sweet.
dope.
Like harvesting, and then it was
Everybody
pretty
gets a
cool.
moment in the show.
Yeah,
Every
I
single
also-
character gets a moment.
Especially
I love
electric
about it.
dude too.
What was his name? Todoroki. Shout out Todoroki.
The little electric like.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Shout out Todoroki for more story stuff.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed like
I
his
can't wait. I
conflict.
can't
Yeah,
wait
he's
because I know
Batman.
it's going to happen in season 4 where he's just using both at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it's nobody's
he's
business.
gonna be
He's the Batman
glorious.
of the show.
Yeah.
He's
He
the
is.
fucking
Oh yeah,
torture
for
soul.
sure. Yeah,
His fight against all those ninjas was badass.
that was really cool.
Caitlin,
Okay.
favorite quirk, favorite character.
favorite quirk
Again,
is
can be the same.
Yayorozu. I really like the creating stuff.
Easy make oven.
I like being an easy bake oven. Easy make oven. You're
Easy
right. I'm
make.
sorry. So I like that quirk.
So you liked the episode where she was in the icebox, basically,
Yes, and she had
Yeah.
to make the fucking speakers.
and she had to make the call.
Yeah, decide like that's what I love about it is like
And then they all came
any
back
any
for her.
situation that you're in, you can figure out what to do.
And the thing
Um,
is, she's a recommendation student, so she's fucking good and
Rich
smart.
ass.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, she just has
Yeah.
zero confidence in
I
herself.
I don't like her like richness being like, oh, this room is so
well,
small.
it's not even that. It's I mean, like I guess if there's one thing to nitpick about it, it's like she's unaware of her privilege about it.
Right,
But like,
right,
if
right.
anything, like she's humbled about it.
Yeah,
And I like that.
Yeah,
she doesn't see it.
she's I don't
she
hate
doesn't
her.
display
She's
I
not-
just was like,
I mean, she
whatever.
displays things, but
She's
she
not
doesn't display
Phoebe
that.
from Arthur.
That was your favorite quirk. You said
That's my favorite quirk.
favorite character.
Favorite character is Eraserhead. I
Oh
just
shit,
fucking love him.
he's dope as shit.
He's
He
well,
gets
he's
that Midoriya scar under his eye. Eventually, you're like, oh fuck.
he's just business mode. He's like, I got shit to do. I'm tired. I have to keep my eyes open all the time.
I'm in a
and
sleeping bag most
watch
of the time.
all of you little shits. Like, I don't know.
When he was
I
talking
just,
to the Joker girl, and she's like, "What are you worried about them?" He's like, "No, the opposite actually. I think they're gonna be overconfident."
Well, also I like
I also love the interaction with
Excited to see what they do.
Yeah, the girl.
Joker.
Yeah.
Where she's like, date me, and he's like, no.
that's for literally all of the weeboos out there who's like, I want to ship Batman and Joker all day.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
those two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
For-
just
for
loved his
sure.
answer to that though. She's like, "Are you worried about him?" He's like, "Quite the opposite. I'm quite excited to see what the two of them do." And I was like, "Oh shit."
Well, also I love when Bakugo and Deku get in trouble and he's like, I want
A written apology from both of them.
yeah,
Oh yeah. And then story wise, I already know I'm gonna get it, so I'm just excited because I want to know more about him. But Shigaraki, of like all the hands and
That's-
the withering
that's Josh
quirk
right
and
there.
the all that business. I just think it's interesting.
Speaking of Josh,
Speaking of me, I love Deku. I'm
His character or quirk?
both.
Both.
I'm a sucker for a underdog.
did you look up what Deku means?
useless person?
Yeah, it basically means
What?
can't do anything.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Which I
Bigotry?
just like his story. He's you hear about those people that become police officers or they're in the military and you know who they are as characters, the kind of people that you're like, you should be that
Yeah,
thing. He
30%
is
of the time for me.
he is like, you should be a hero.
Yeah.
You're the kind of person that you take strategy in mind, you're analyzing, but you're also just a good guy.
sometimes he just runs in,
Yeah.
as we
Also,
saw in like episode
he-
2, where he's just
Sometimes
like
he does.
crying and
he's an
pulling
equal
slack.
One. That's
he
one.
does have
Yeah.
he
Was it
does-
one? Sorry.
He does have like a balance where he's like, I'm analyzing, and then he's
Yeah.
just doing.
Yeah.
Because it's the right thing
Right.
to do. But oh man.
He's a fanboy.
yeah. Shigaraki, I just can't get over him.
His
I
quirk?
his quirk and
Is
just
that your
his
favorite
story.
quirk?
He's probably in a weird way. I don't know. I like Deku's
All for
Quirk
one.
a lot.
I mean, one for all.
but here's one thing. I have
Yeah.
a question.
Yeah.
So the quirk, it's almost like it's not a quirk.
What?
What?
My
Like,
eyes went
like
micro.
Deku having
One for all.
like it almost sounds like it was created. So I guess maybe it was a quirk at one point, but it just happened to be a quirk that could be handed down.
No,
Well,
no. It
all-
was
all
passed to
for
someone
one.
who could pass it down, and then he passed all of those quirks down,
Okay,
including
okay.
being able to pass it down.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
But
All-
then it gets improved.
It is an amalgamation.
It gets
Okay.
improved every time.
All,
Yeah.
all for one created one
It's
for
like
all and
accidentally.
and then gave it to his brother.
It's
Okay.
like the
So it was
the
a
Avatar
created
state.
quirk.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I love
What is
that.
Avatar.
I think it's
Yeah.
really
Oh,
cool that it is that it's keeping that
So
passing
it's
of
your
the
favorite
mantle.
character and quirk.
Yes.
Cool.
But I do have to do a huge shout out to Shigaraki.
For sure.
Shigaraki is my shout out character.
Favorite character is probably All Might.
Okay.
All Might,
Shock.
I think, is the greatest, and I'll go on record to say he is the best iteration of any type of like this is the top hero of the universe, like over Superman, over Cap and Iron Man, over Master Chief, over fucking Belmont of Castlevania, anything. Like if there's like the hero of legend, like All Might is the best version of it, I think. Just selfless, self-sacrificing, all powerful, but also limited and flawed in the best ways possible that make it
And kind of dumb at times.
that make it a good character and not like, oh well, that's a plot contrived like weakness versus like,
Right.
oh no, he lost that his ability to become the thing because he was saving people. And that became like he became the greatest hero to immediately become like slowly losing his ability to save people
Mhm.
and inspired so many people. And like he in where like the world revolves around him in such a way in positive and bad ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, All Might's fucking great. And as well, fucking Chris Sabai, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fucking, you hear him go from Piccolo 1 second to like crazy Vegeta 1 second.
Yeah.
And favorite quirk. I would have to say, I mean, the cheat answer is fucking all for one.
I knew
All for
it.
one. Because you
Oh,
could
I
steal
can
and make shit.
smell it a mile
But
away.
like, no, I like.
You can say if that's your favorite one, that's your favorite one, man.
Yeah, ish. I mean, honestly,
Doesn't mean you have to use it for bad.
honestly, it's probably it's
Omnipotent
actually
power.
probably my favorite is probably Todoroki.
I knew it. I was gonna say
It's
it.
probably Todoroki because it's
The
like
fire and
he
ice.
can fight. Yeah, fire
Icy
and ice.
hot.
Well, yeah, he's icy hot because like he can move to places pretty fast as well as like make sure that people don't get close to him.
And
So,
he's
like-
fucking OP. He's an Omega level quirk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also, but he's also Mewtwo.
Yeah.
It's like we wanted to create the most powerful Pokemon in the world, and we succeeded. Like that's fucking Mewtwo Strikes Back, and it's like you fucking created fucking icy hot. He's hella strong.
But then Mewtwo finally meets Mew,
And-
Midoriya, and is like, what was it all for? Nothing.
Mhm.
You're
But the
right.
thing is also
this is my powers, not yours.
But the thing that I love is that Bakugo, Todoroki, as well as Izuku, like Izuku has all for one, and literally one for all, and has the potential to get so great. But it's like these two don't even have it, and yet they're going to be like his natural rivals.
Yeah.
Like because they're going to get so good because those are abilities that would probably be on par with like pro levels.
Mhm.
Except that Todoroki is no longer a rival to him.
I mean, yeah, he's like more of like a really good ally.
Bakugo is the
Bakugo's the official
the
rival.
proper
Rival,
rival.
Yeah.
so
As for now,
qualms?
we'll see.
Qualms.
Quimquams?
Palms.
I have
Besides the filler episode, which is on my number one list.
Take it away, Josh.
So my one qualm, and it's an overarching qualm, is that, and this me and Tom talked about when I first started watching it. I got through the first season and I was like, all right, and then I got through the second season, and my problem is that so this is a short amount of time, correct?
This is like 4
Like,
months.
it's
So
like-
I've watched
like almost 6 months.
No,
If it's a
I've
semester?
watched some of season 4, and they say in 4 months.
Oh, okay.
This all has taken place in 4 months.
4 months.
So
Whoa.
I feel like a lot happens,
Mhm.
and then sometimes nothing happens. So like in Showtime, like watching the show as an audience member, the slowness of Bakugo's growth, and not Bakugo, Deku's growth in terms of his power.
Yeah.
It seems like it's like so spread out, where you have all of these events that are happening,
Yeah.
like a lot is happening. So sometimes I'm like, are we gonna be just like forever? Like I'm kind of like, okay, now we're at 8%.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
Welcome to Shonen Genre.
I know.
anime.
So for me,
it was like a.
I'll
it
tell you
was-
this also.
It's
know,
like a
the
lot
reason-
happens and not a lot happens at the same time.
The reason for me it didn't feel that way is that everyone keeps reminding him how quickly we have been pushing you and how training. So
Yeah.
it's been such a short amount of time. So for me, all that shit happening in 4 months is insane.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
a lot. But I mean, that's a subjective standpoint. I had that reminder every 4 episodes of being like, it's only been this a short amount of time. I know, but you have to keep pushing yourself.
I
And
didn't
like,
even feel. I thought it was much longer.
I'll also let you know, like, animes, it's in shonen specifically, it's quite common to run over
Yeah.
300 to 400 episodes.
Yeah.
And so, and the dumb thing, if you think about it, the season 1 enemy, right? Fucking, oh, it's so strong. And then season 2, like a fucking stupid peon, it's like beats the fucking main cast. You're like, I guess, why didn't this guy just beat up the last villain?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so there is interesting tropes, I would say, about anime in that sense. This, however, it has kind of avoided that in a weird way, but in the sense of like, how do power scaling goes up? Like
Yeah.
right now, there's no sense of power scale, which is great to me, other than I'm 8% of the strength, right? But it's like,
Look at what 8%
It
can
looks
do.
like 100% every time you use it. So I
Yeah.
can't tell
Yeah.
the difference.
But then how will he use it? And that's going to be,
Yeah.
I think, the thing where I think that's why, again, the paradigm shift of like, it's not about percentage. It's about how he's going to be able to use it.
Yeah.
Because even then, like, is that all the powers that all for one
I mean, because
got
he
passed
said,
down?
what did he say, 1,000% at one point?
Yeah.
So he can
Million.
go beyond a million.
Million.
He can go way beyond.
He can go plus ultra. Someone
Yeah. So we're still not even seeing the maximum of what it can do.
say. Yeah. So
And
yeah.
that's only for where his body is right now too.
Yeah.
Like as he grows stronger, his percentages will shift.
But yeah, in a sense of like what from season 1 not knowing how to do anything, from season 2 5% to season 3 8%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's 3% difference.
In 4 months, though,
every month,
From not being
4
able to
months,
use
yeah.
it to
Maybe we'll
using
have a time
almost
jump.
10% of it.
I think it's more so from a
Hopefully.
standpoint, like in the show's time, like in the timeline, like, yeah, a lot has happened in 4
Yeah.
months. Like if we're looking at the storyline and in the storyline, like him going from 1 to 8 in 4 months, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. It's natural. It's me as an audience member
Right.
of just like, okay, this many episodes
Well,
have
Also, the thing
passed since.
with the number as well, it kind of like puts this ticking time bomb that you
Yeah.
think like, oh, he won't have a full arc until it's 100%.
Yeah.
But I think we're probably in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's how it's going to be. But it makes us cognizant of that.
It's also, if you think about it, it's his. He doesn't, like, we were joking about this before we
How
started
does he
recording.
know?
Like, how does he know what the percentage
Yeah.
is? Like, he has a
It's a
meter
meter.
inside of him that, and he could not know. He
There's
could
a
be like,
reading.
There's a one
somewhere?
for all emitter.
he's saying 8%, but maybe it's actually like 35% or
Like,
something
why not
like that. Like, we don't
7.5%?
know.
Are you talking shit about Small Might?
Small Mike?
Did you come up with that?
Don't call
It's
him that.
online.
Don't call him that.
Small Might though.
That's a great shout out to whoever came up with that. That's fucking amazing.
little Small Might.
I
Ollie.
can go next. I had the same issue with this as I did with Fruits Basket, which is it's really hard for me to get through the overly pervy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Grape
Mineta?
juice.
Me too.
Mineta.
That's my
Yeah.
big qualm.
It's just
It's a cultural difference thing, I
cringy
know,
and
but-
like it's just hard to watch. And I'm like, not hard to watch, but I'm just like, it's cringy, and I roll my eyes, and I'm like, ugh.
If I may run to its defense, I will say this: it's
I'm imagining you come in, wait, guys.
Guys,
No,
Wait.
I was gonna say like imagine
Jesus.
Baywatch, but I enjoy it because I remember being a fucking kid and being like boobies everywhere, right? I think it's a little weird because we're older and these are kids.
I didn't go through that phase though.
No.
So for me, it's not relatable.
That's not.
Well, like I mean, to me, actually, I am speaking on point of like what the internet's actually been talking about too, because like they're like, remember, these are fucking high school kids.
Yeah.
So stop fantasizing them the same way that Mineta does, and it makes sense that Mineta does because he's a high school kid, so he is fantasizing about the cheerleaders, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. But it's like it is weird when like they use that gaze on us,
Yeah.
like when they draw them in such a way and stuff like that. But I was like,
I think it's definitely subjective.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think to me, I kind of love it so much because like to me, like that exists. That's a reality that people are like that. And what happens every time he does it? He
He
fucking
gets
gets burned
called
for it.
out.
Like the
hard.
kid beats him up, and then fucking like he gets shocked for it, and then like every single thing, I'm like, I love that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want the girls to be in bathing suits and bikinis, and they're all in fucking onesies. He's like, oh.
Like when he wanted
And I'm
them
like,
to
yeah,
like
that's
come
great.
look at his room and stuff. And I was just
Yeah,
like,
and then everyone's like, no. And it's like, yeah, fucking like that's how, in a way, like you kind of start talking and dealing with these kind of issues of like, hey, keep your hands to yourself in a way. And so I like it because like it
I
hasn't
don't know,
crossed
like
that line.
like you know,
I get that it's for
American
comedic relief.
Pie is
Yeah.
the same thing, right? It's just like pervy kids, high school students, whatever. And I don't have a problem with that, but there's something about it in and maybe
There's
it's
a
just the way it's
desperation
drawn.
to it. That's
Yeah, there's
strange.
like
For me, it took me out of the episode every time. I could
Yeah.
have done without that character 100%
mhm.
and enjoyed it way
Um,
more.
I love Mineta.
Well, I think, like, to your point, is it's kind of like it's a trope.
Yeah.
In that sense. And so it did bother me as well. I think the reason why it kind of lowered it for me was because he kind of got smacked on the hand every time it happened,
Yeah.
like some sort of.
I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way.
retribution.
If we were scoring this, it would lower the score for me.
Right.
Well,
As a
Makes
whole
sense.
show.
Same. And,
Totally makes
and
sense.
like, I feel like it's beneath the show
Yeah.
in a weird way. Like, I'm like, you're kind of, why are you
Yeah.
like, why live in this? Like, you're a new show. Why are we still living in these like weird tropes? But I guess it is.
It's
like
a strong
cultural, and
cultural
it's like,
thing.
It's a cultural
that's
thing.
normal.
Like
Like I would say, like honestly, you look back to Master Roshi. You look back to like
Oh,
all old
Lord.
animes. Like there's always that character that like sees a hot girl.
Except I
fucking
didn't like him
blitz her.
then. Even when I was a kid, I hated Master Roshi for that.
Oh,
I
love
wouldn't care if like the occasional character did that. Like if Deku. out
To
of
me, it's the
nowhere
equivalent of
did it,
the
but-
Flash falling on Wonder Woman. It's just like
Right.
I roll my eyes every time. Like
Yeah.
oh, we don't need this.
Not needed.
it. I mean, I would say like in American media, it's very different versus like Japanese media. Like I don't,
Right.
I'm not there, and so I wouldn't know. So I couldn't claim to be like you don't need to do this because like maybe there is a huge audience that do love that shit that we're not
Right,
aware
but
of.
you're
sure
also
there is, yeah.
translating it for an English audience. There can be some changes and tweaks you can make.
Yeah,
Still.
you could do a lot of cuts to it specifically. So it
Yeah.
But
depends.
a lot of people love him, so they're not going to cut it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he cringy, but they like that. So
I mean, I think I mean in the one episode specifically
don't.
where like he was saying like Nurse Girl, whatever, was saying like he doesn't have a strong goal, and his strong goal is like I want to be confident with women.
right.
And I was like, that
Yeah.
is a strong goal. It's not a great goal, but it's a strong goal. And
Yeah.
it's like okay, and so I was like, it's in some way, it's like there is
So
those
it's like
kind of characters.
he gets into UA, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, what's your like? I never got a sense of like resolve that he had, other than wanting to.
be around
Hook up with
hot
girls.
women.
Yeah, because he's like we were like all the Harry Potter kids who are just cannon fodder who are
Yeah.
like, I don't know how the fuck you got in here because you suck.
Yeah.
And like the same thing with the Electric Boy because he's also in the same sense of like he's a little pervy too,
Electric
but
Boy.
he's not in the same
See,
sense
like
of
that's a
like
good
Mineta.
amount, I'd say.
Yeah.
Electric Boy is
because he has an other arc besides that.
right.
Danky,
It's not his entire arc.
Exactly.
which is like
I agree.
electricity.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Cool.
And comms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was
Any
one of
more?
mine. So if anyone
Just
else
one.
wants to,
I was just gonna say that I agree with you in the sense of like his character. Like he was hard to legitimize in my eyes as well.
Mhm.
He didn't have like, I think you said it, where it's like, but you got into the school.
I
And,
mean,
like when I see it,
there-
there was
there-
like one moment where he saved the cat for me, where I was like, okay,
where
there,
he and his friend passed the test. Is that the
yeah.
moment?
Like that was the one moment that I was like, okay,
Okay.
There,
Like,
there's actually a lot
you
of
belong.
funny like threads online that talk about like how did some of these kids pass the fucking
The
like,
entrance.
entrance exam, and there's actually written stuff about Mineta how he beat the robots at first is because he just used his balls to gunk up the machines,
Mm.
and so
Makes
like
sense.
there I think are written things about other characters why they have no arc
I got
other
how
than
he
those
get
characters.
in. I got that.
I mean,
but-
also like
You're like, I just
Yeah.
But
hate
it's
it,
like
and I wish
because
he
you got
wasn't
in,
there.
like
yeah,
like every other character in Class A at least that we've
I thought it was
seen
acted well.
has
I thought
like
the voice actor did great.
some
'Cause that was
personal
the exact
thing.
voice I would have imagined.
Brina
for him.
Valencia,
Oh man, yeah.
I can't believe guys.
I thought they did a great job.
she's hilarious.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, it's a woman.
So nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brina.
nothing.
That's
Nothing
what's
against the. It's just the writing for it. It's just beyond what I enjoy.
Also,
I will say that I'm really glad that I saw it. It was like her voicing Mineta because then I was just like, it's fine.
oh yeah,
She
right.
knows what's up.
Yeah,
She knows what's up.
She knows who she's voicing.
her timing was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what made it great. It's
I
like
know why I have this quirk now. Go on.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
No, Corey, you're
that
waiting, so
was
go ahead.
mainly
Go.
it for me.
Bakugo.
really.
I got really tired of him by about season 2.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. I don't think I have patience for arrogance anymore. Maybe that's just my own baggage, but the always yelling
Mhm.
got really on my nerves, and the fact that he's a piece of shit to everyone, even when they try to help him. And
Aw.
I have no sympathy left for the character. And I know they tried to redeem it in season 3, but by that point, I wanted Midori to kick the shit out of him, and I would have been fine if he was hospitalized for the rest of the show. Like,
Wow.
I no offense to your favorite character, but
No,
like,
it's fine.
I can't. I would prefer grape juice over Bakugo.
Hell yeah.
wow.
Fucking Mineta, baby.
I hope I'm interested to see where they take him now. Maybe I like him more now that they share this secret and
Yeah.
stuff. But honestly, by season 3, I was totally over it. I was like, I can't.
I
Every time he was
completely
on
get that.
screen, I was like, no more, please.
So
Like-
would you love it if Mineta just put his balls onto Bakugo and then they just both exploded? And
Sure. Yeah.
Jeez.
Well,
but
because he hasn't really grown either. in
No.
a sense of like
that's my criticism.
It's
is
a
that-
pretty stagnant character
Yeah.
for 3 seasons, and yet the thing is, like, sure, he became number 1 in the tournament, but everything else he's done has pretty much gotten everyone else in trouble every single time.
He's Raphael.
And it took him. It was like too
Nice
little, too
worse than
late.
Raphael.
Too little, too late to learn the lesson at
Mhm.
this point. And when he was blaming himself, I was like, yeah, like, I know you're not supposed to, but I did. I totally did. I was like, this is totally your fault. For 2 seasons, you could have fixed this issue, and now you've like killed your favorite hero.
It wasn't his fault that he got kidnapped.
Pretty much. He was.
Kind of was.
He didn't run. He
Hmm.
wanted to stay and fight
Yeah.
the entire time.
Oh,
Even though
Well-
she was telepathically saying, you have the right to fight, but you should run. Everyone's like, let's go, let's get out of here. And he was like, no, they said we have the right to fight. And I was like, dude,
It
come
even
on.
weighs on him afterwards.
So that was enough for me to, that was like my last straw of sympathy
To
for the
write him off.
character.
but I
Yeah.
mean, if he left, then Tokoyami could have killed Aurora about it.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of things could have played out different. Maybe they wouldn't have been that
I
far
mean,
out
everything
either.
could have. What if?
Right.
We could all play in the what if
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
But,
Shout out
but
to
the
Disney.
truth is, he stayed
Shout
in,
out to
in
Disney
fight.
Plus.
I mean, Todoroki would have been enough to stop that, even without Bakugo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. I am interested enough to see where they take it now. Like that, like Ali said, that last
Yeah.
episode was like enough for me to go, okay.
Heavy
But
stuff.
but as far as the tone, like, I have a note here that just said disliked him more as the show went on.
Yeah.
Well,
I think for me it was like, because I agree with all your points, but I think maybe the way I was watching or something, but it didn't compound for me.
Oh,
It never
Yeah.
did. But for you,
and
it
it was
sounded like
the yelling. I couldn't do any more yelling.
the
It was just it. Yeah.
I
Shut
almost-
up! I'll kill you.
I almost saw it as
Yeah.
like I think I kind of saw it as like a comedic relief in a weird way, because I was kind of like laughing
Your
at him.
comedic relief and my comedic relief are two different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Alright.
also just like know I know people who are like, even when they're talking normally, it sounds like they're yelling at you.
No, I get that,
So,
but he was actually yelling.
was actually.
I
There's a
know-
difference.
I know.
I have a shout out to my best friend Neil. He's the loudest person I know. Everything he says is yelled, but this was actual angry yelling. And there's a for me there's a strong enough line between those two.
Well,
that
no, it's
I
not
was
even that
like,
he's
y'all
yelling.
need to
It's not, even,
chill.
it's not even that he's yelling. He's just outwardly angry.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
He's angry.
Todoroki is quietly angry.
all the
Yes.
time.
If you were to say between Todoroki and Bakugo, their anger is equal.
Yeah,
Like
I would
Todoroki
agree.
is pissed off at his dad and himself because he's a monster in his own eyes.
but he knows enough to like, I'm gonna follow him to become the next number 2 hero
But then-
despite
That's
him.
after.
but
his,
then he
like,
also
turn.
knows like my anger is directed to one person.
Right.
And Bakugo's like everyone's like I'll kill you.
Like-
what are you losers following me
even
for?
his friend
Kirishima.
Yeah, he still is
Why
like
are you
calling
following
him
me,
trash
loser?
and like I'm just like,
And Kirishima
All right, I'm
and
over it,
Electric
man.
Boy are like, hey man, we're just having fun.
yeah.
Just hanging out.
I
So
get
yeah,
that
that's
totally.
that's my last qualm.
That's fine.
get that.
Do I have any qualms? I mean, I don't think I have any really picking ones. Other than I would say, in a weird way, there didn't. Again, this is like a shonen genre anime, but it's not in the typical traditional sense that I'm used to. In each season, there is not a new threat that you're kind of like, okay, we got to prep up for this one, and it works in a good way, and in a way, I'm kind of like, just fucking Shigaraki. He's
Yeah.
a little bitch boy. Fucking all Might could and just like throw him into a tornado. But also, we didn't mention the fact that like he is his mentor's grandson, and so like that hurts his heartstring. But then like even then like All Might's
But we
like,
don't actually know if that's true or not yet.
I mean, has the show lied to us before?
No.
So
Well,
why would you? Assume it?
Eraserhead has lied to us multiple times,
To the
so the
kids.
show has lied to us.
Well, he's lied.
Right.
He's a liar.
Right.
Corey's favorite character is a fucking liar.
My favorite character is technically Tokiyami. He's a close
It's my
second.
favorite
Your
character.
favorite character is a liar, so you
That's
like
fine.
liars. So okay.
Wow.
Apparently. Thank you. Wow. All right.
But no,
I'll kill you,
you bastard! I'll be number one. No, I mean, yeah, it's just Shigaraki, and like in the same way, I guess your irritants of like not seeing where Deku's gonna really grow and all shit is the same thing with Shigaraki. I'm just kind of like, do you got your shit together yet or not? And then like fucking Warp Boy is always like, Tomura, you must learn, and he will find out. And then fucking One for All or All for One is just like, I'm here for you.
Twiddly
if
fingers.
You need me. And he's like,
But wait,
"This is it.
what's the qualm?
This is annoying. Shigaraki just feels like, like he's not really as
Daunting.
no, he's not as effective as everything else is. Like
He's not.
when you see characters, and again, I've said this, I like characters that like move plot. And Shigaraki will do something, but like he fails a lot of times, but then a lot of times he's mired in like self-doubt, and you don't really know what his like goal is. Izuku's like, I'm gonna be hero, and Bakugo, I'm gonna be hero. Todoroki, I'm gonna be hero. He was like, I hate All Might, and I don't know why. And it's just like,
to be honest, the hero killer episode, Stain, when he released all the Nomus alongside Stain, I couldn't figure out what his purpose was.
like, and that's the thing that I think
I got
was,
Stain's purpose,
which was I think
100%
written wise, because
dope
like
character.
all the characters like loved Stain. And I think even we liked Stain because it's like, oh, he knows
because
what
he has
he's
a
about.
principle.
He knows what he's about.
Yeah.
We're like, why? He's like, I just hate All Might. And it's like,
Man.
what? But why?
Shigaraki got all those hands and none of them are helping with the plot.
He's like, when Kashi's hands, I caught all of them apparently.
I caught all of them and they're
Oh,
doing
man.
nothing for
Seeing
me.
Endeavor take down the Nomus though was dope as shit.
Oh yeah, it was.
Just
And
flames?
his running up the building, but melting the building with every
Yeah.
step. I was like, holy shit.
Number-
Getting to see the number 2 hero in action was pretty cool.
That's
Fire
intense.
feats.
But he had like a fire arrow he like stabbed through its head.
Oh,
That was javelin. That was
That's what-
dope.
I was gonna say arrow. I was like, Corey, that's Corey shit.
Bow and arrow.
Just wait till you see the number 3 that's turned to number 2.
I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Online and all I use is bow and arrow. So
Nice.
get ready.
Nice.
get ready. Endeavor Red Dead Redemption 3.
As soon as they introduced bow and arrow, I was like, there we go. That's me. But yeah, so is that it?
That's all quams. Yeah.
Sweet.
Wow.
So no rating, but
rating.
Yeah.
No rating, but the show is great.
Y'all should watch
everyone
this
at
show.
home. You can watch it on Hulu, on Funimation,
Funimation.
and simulcast wherever the fuck they show it. Crunchyroll probably.
It's one of my
think
favorite
Funimation
animes
has
I've
it,
watched
not
in
Crunchyroll.
quite a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Same.
It's really good.
Yeah, I hate that it's so good in its own right.
It's got like Harry Potter. It's got like kind of vampire of like, eat this and you will become strong like me. Except it's hair and not blood.
Well, the thing is, like, I've seen that, and I've seen Hunter x Hunter, and then I've also seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and then I'm also seeing like kind of like, as the young kids would say, the new age
New
or new
wave.
wave of like anime, and like this pays so much homage to like the old shonen genre, but also flips on its head in such a great way that it's like it's not about the fight,
it's-
it's about the story.
And I mean this in
Yeah.
the best way. It's modernized to the sense that like a lot of the things that do bother me about anime is such as like trying to fit full sentences into 3 seconds worth of time,
oh
or like
Lord,
yeah.
yeah.
like it includes none of that. Like the production value is super
yeah.
high.
Well,
and
yeah.
I really the acting is on point.
Super shout out to all of the voice actors and the sound engineers and
Lip
all
flappers.
of the post production people
Yeah.
involved in this. Just because like
It's-
it's so well done and everything can go so wrong so quickly. One sentence can be off and take you out of like a moment, and that wasn't happening. So
I've seen a lot
it
of
was
bad
great.
anime. I'm cool.
Aren't you cool?
No, it's just like
You are
oh,
so
Aren't
cool,
you cool,
Tom.
Tom?
Man.
Isn't Tom cool?
Tom's so cool.
My
Wow.
quirks. I'm so
Ollie.
cool.
Tom's cool, right?
No.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
Gotta bring us home. Do I have a Bakugo somewhere?
Bring us home, Josh.
Awesome. Everybody at home, thank you so much for listening. What did you think about My Hero Academia?
What's your favorite quirk?
favorite quirk, favorite character,
Or if you haven't
favorite
watched
hero?
it, tell us about it when you do.
Yes, please do. Reach out to our direct messages. And,
Say Corey was
slide.
way too harsh on those characters.
A little bit.
we appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. Please share us with your friends, your family, your rivals. I mean, they might like it.
Bakugo might like it.
And then you'll become even more
kill
rivals. And then
Me
Anyway.
Netta slide into our DMs.
No, never do that one though.
oh god.
Please never do that one.
Stop by wherever you listen and do rate and review us. That kind of stuff does help. Share our website and consider becoming a part of the Nerd On Nation, where you can support us as we grow and get fun stuff to thank you for doing that. But you know the drill. As always,
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.